Tickton was a bustling town. People rushed about, shops lined the streets. There was a bakery with the smell of fresh bread. There was a toy shop with colourful toys, and right in the heart of Tickton was Mr. Hugo's clock shop. Mr. Hugo was an old man. He had a kind face and twinkling eyes. He loved making clocks. His shop was filled with clocks of all shapes and sizes. There were cuckoo clocks that sang merrily. There were grandfather clocks that stood tall and proud. Every clock ticked in perfect harmony. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The sound was mesmerizing. It was like the heartbeat of the town. Mr. Hugo was the keeper of that heartbeat. He made sure time flowed smoothly in Tickton. Mr. Hugo took great pride in his work. He used the finest wood and metal. He polished every gear and spring until it gleamed. Each clock was a masterpiece. They were not just timekeepers, they were works of art. Among all the clocks in Mr. Hugo's shop, one stood out. It was a golden clock. It shimmered and sparkled. It sat on a pedestal in the centre of the shop. This clock was different. It was magical. The golden clock had a rule. No one could touch it. Mr. Hugo was very clear about this. Look, but don't touch, he would tell everyone who entered his shop. People whispered about the golden clock. Some said it held a secret. Others said it controlled the flow of time in Tickton. No one knew for sure. Mr. Hugo never spoke about the clock's magic. He simply smiled and shook his head. The mystery of the golden clock only grew stronger. One sunny afternoon, a young boy named Leo walked into Mr. Hugo's shop. Leo was a curious boy. He loved to explore, he loved to tinker, and more than anything, he loved gadgets. Leo's eyes widened in amazement. He had never seen so many clocks in one place. He ran from one clock to another. He listened to their ticks and tocks. He marvelled at their intricate designs. Then Leo spotted the golden clock. It was even more beautiful up close. It seemed to call out to him. Leo couldn't resist. He reached out a finger to touch it. "Don't touch that!" a voice boomed. Leo jumped back in surprise. It was Mr. Hugo. His kind eyes were now serious. Section 4. The Night of the Frozen World. That night, Leo couldn't sleep. He kept seeing the golden clock in his dreams. He had to know what made it so special. Why couldn't he touch it? Leo snuck out of bed. He tiptoed out of his house. He ran all the way to Mr. Hugo's shop. The town was silent. Everyone was asleep. Leo peered through the shop window. The golden clock shimmered under the moonlight. He knew it was wrong, but his curiosity was too strong. He crept inside. Leo reached out and touched the golden clock. Suddenly, everything stopped. The ticking clocks fell silent. The air hung heavy and still. Leo's heart pounded in his chest. He'd made a terrible mistake. Section 5. Restoring balance, restoring time. The world outside the shop was frozen. People were caught mid-stride, birds hung in mid-air. Time had stopped. Mr. Hugo appeared beside Leo. He looked sad, not angry. "You have upset the balance, Leo," he said. "But there is still hope. You can fix this." Mr. Hugo gave Leo a tiny gear. It was small and silver with delicate teeth. "Find where this gear belongs," he said. "Place it back in the clock. Only then will time flow again." Leo's journey to fix the clock was filled with challenges. He had to be patient as he navigated through the frozen moments. He had to be kind to those frozen in time, understanding their unspoken stories. He had to be courageous, facing his mistake and making things right. Finally, Leo found where the tiny gear belonged. He carefully placed it back into the golden clock. The clock whirred back to life. The world unfroze. Time began to flow again. Mr. Hugo smiled. "You have learned the secret of the clock, Leo," he said. "Time is precious. It must be balanced with responsibility." Leo returned home a changed boy. He cherished every tick and tock. He understood the value of balance. and he made sure to always use his time wisely.